Hello students, welcome to e-learning with Divine Public School Navsari. We are learning about subject economics. I am Mithis sir. We have started our first chapter economics and introduction. Now in this lecture we are going to learn about development of economics as a science in the West, economic activity and non-economic activity, microeconomics and macroeconomics. In our previous lecture we have studied about the meaning and what is the meaning in the Indian terms we have studied about, but today we are going to look in the western region, and here economics has been told as a science. So what are the different economics has given their definitions as per relating to the science. Then after we are going to learn what do you mean by economic activity and what is non-economic activity. And then after our economic subject is been divided into two parts, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Let's move to the first topic, development of economic as a science. This says economic is nothing but a science in the western region. Now in the western region, first economics, that is Aristotle. You have aware of the word, you have heard about Aristotle. Now he gives his views on economics, like in his book O Economica. He has written a book O Economica, and he gives the meaning that it was a starting from the industrial revolution, where due to many specialization you find many changes occur in the study of human behavior, and that study of human behavior is nothing but economics, and it is an independent science. So after industrial revolution which have came into the existence, Aristotle says that there is change in the specialization of human behavior. Now how? Because of industrial revolution, many of the different labors are being required with the different skills, and with the different skills different labors have to get that specialization, and that specialization is to be studied, and that studies of that particular human specialization or human behavior is called as what? Economics here. So economics is nothing but a study of human behavior after the industrial revolution has came, and as well as it is an independent science. Now then after, Adam Smith. Now Adam Smith was also known as father of economics. Now Adam Smith is the father of economics because he has in his book An Inquiry of Nation of Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nation, he says the meaning that economic is a study of nature and causes wealth of nation. Economics is nothing but study of wealth. He focuses only on wealth here. Now wealth, how wealth can be generated? Wealth can be generated in the production department. So by the way of producing goods, selling into the market, distribution of goods, all these things is being done by an individual, and every individual in a nation, and whole together the nation's wealth is being collected. If every individual is focusing only on wealth, and they are producing, they are selling it, they are distributing the products, goods and services, so what will happening up? This creates whole nation wealthy. So he says that this is how wealth is being created. Then after, he introduced economic as a social science. Now why he says economic as a social science? Because one hand he studies about the human efforts. Now human efforts means all those individuals who are creating wealth in his economy or in his nation. As per his definition, he says that every individual is doing what? They are only creating wealth. So he studies that it is a human effort for creating wealth. And on the other hand, he says this methodology, his methodology was scientific. He says this is relating to the science. It is not, we can say it is not only arts, but it is a science. It is not only human efforts, but it has some scientific way also. So both together he put, and it becomes what? Social science. So this is how Adam Smith concludes in his definition that economic is study of wealth. It is also known as wealth definition. Adam Smith definition is also known as wealth definition. Then after, in 1890, Alfred Marshall came. He published his book, namely Principle of Economics. So he has also given definition, and his definition says about Economic is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Now, in the Adam Smith definition, he was focusing on wealth, whereas Alfred Marshall came with a new concept that he studies about mankind. He has given importance to the human beings in his ordinary business of life. Now, what is ordinary business of life? Everyday activity of human being to attain their living, to get well-being, or to get maximum satisfaction from the what all things they are doing for earning their money. It says that a human being, a person who is doing, like for example me, I'm a teacher, so I'm teaching subjects, so it gives me maximum satisfaction for teaching a students. So after end of the month, school is giving me the earning, so that is my satisfaction. So this is what is happening up. So it focuses on material consumption. What is material consumption? Material consumption means when you have money and you try to go a shop. Suppose you went to a shop and you purchase, like you want chocolate, so you purchase chocolate and you have given the amount in rupees, in currency. So you have exchanged with money. You have exchanged with money. So one thing you have given up and another thing you have taken up. So that is called as what? Material consumption. Whereas teaching, doctor profession or lawyer profession comes under services, and it is called as immaterial consumption, where you get knowledge, where you get services, where you does not get any product on your hand. So here Alfred Marshall focuses only on material consumption, where he get maximum satisfaction from everyday activity. So that's why he says economic is a study of humans, or we can say mankind, in the ordinary business of life. In his definition, he focuses on human well-being, or well-being can be also known as human satisfaction, and that has been kept in the center. Then after, Lionel Robin comes, and it is in 1931. He has written a book, Nature and Significance of Economics. See, the book which is given by Lionel Robbins and the book which is given by Adam Smith is little bit similar, starting from nature. So don't get confused. Lionel Robbins have given in his book economic definition, that is, economic is a science which studies human behavior. It studies human behavior, like Aristotle, it studies human behavior, but as a relation between ends and scare means which have alternative uses. Now, ends means human want, desire, what you want to have, what you want to achieve. Like every human in this world have wants, and that wants are unlimited. That human wants are unlimited and mostly occurring. Why? Suppose you desire to have ice cream in summer season, so it is not one day you consume ice cream and then after it is not you require. When you have, when you purchase ice cream, when you consume it, you feel well, good, and you want to consume it every day because it is a summer season. So it is reoccurring every time, it is occurring, we can say, keeps on occurring in the summer season. So what is happening up? Your wants are there, but scare means, here another thing is also there, scare means. Now means here means the resources. Means is nothing but the resources are limited. Your resources are limited which satisfy human want. So that's why you need to go with using your resources in an alternative way. You need to, suppose you're having 10 rupees, you have to make a choice, you have to have 10 rupees. Now 10 rupees you can either purchase a cup of ice cream or you can purchase a ball pen. Means you have only 10 rupees with you and you have a choice that you can purchase, you can satisfy your want to have an ice cream, or you can purchase ball pen for writing notes. So as per your main want, you try to purchase either ice cream or either ball pen to write the notes. So resources, that is 10 rupees, is limited. The means are limited here, and that's why it is called scare means. Scarce is nothing but a scarcity, that is, it is having lack. The resources are limited, so that we have to use that limited resource in the alternative way. So this is what economics says in terms of Lionel Robbins. Again, he says that economics deals with the problem of allocation of scarce resources in the satisfaction of human wants to the maximum. Now, here he says that when you are in a problem of choice, like I given you example, 10 rupees are there, you can either purchase ice cream or either purchase a ball pen. So there is a problem of choice to make, either go with one or the other want. So you have to give importance to your most necessary want, and then after you have to use it. So it gives you a problem of allocation of resources. That's why you can see another example, like in your family, your father is earning, so there is a list which all places you are try to, there is an allocation of list which has been given, that which all places you should use your money. The father knows which all places he has to give money, you have to pay the bills, you have to purchase the things for every month, everything he has a record, and he try to allocate the money for different items, different goods, resources. This much money are being kept so that he can have a good satisfaction and in their family. So this is how it works. Lastly, economics, here he says it is a positive science. It is not a normative science. It is does not deals with norms, and it is not a normative science. So this is what Lionel Robbins definition is about, and it is also known as scarcity definition. Here it is also known as scarcity definition. Then after, Paul Samuelson, he has given in his book definition of economics, in his book that is Foundation of Economic Analysis. He says that economic is a study of how people and society end up choosing with or without the use of money to employ scarce productive resources that could have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over time and distributing them for consumption now or in the future among various persons in the society. It analyzes cost and benefits of improving pattern of resource allocation, like a big definition which is given by Paul Samuelson. He says, but it is a very simple to understand. He says that it is the study of people, not only people but also society, which are end up in choosing with or without the use of money. Means they try to choose the resources by using of money or without the use of money, so that whatever resources they are having around them, they can use it in alternative ways. And how alternative ways? Because from alternative ways, here it says that they can produce different various commodities, means different types of commodities over the time, so that it can are helpful for production, not only now, it can be helpful for production now also, but also in the future. They are thinking of future also, and that too not limiting with one person, as in the studying only is studies of the people and the society. So among the various person in the society, they are thinking that, they are telling that we have money or not, but if we have resources, we have to produce a commodity, and that commodity should be used for present as well as in the future, and that too not only for one person, that too it should be used for every person or various person in the society. Also, it also analyzes the cost, means how much money is been involved for producing that particular commodity, what are the benefits, and how resources are to be allocated to produce that particular goods. So this is how it's a very broad definition which terms not only one individual, but here it terms the people and the society and the allocation of resources. Like it is a big definition which has been given with a broader sense. Whereas if you see Adam Smith only focus on wealth, whereas Alfred Marshall focus on human welfare. You can say this Lionel Robbins focus on scarcity, ends and scare means, but here everything is there. Ends and scare means society, alternative uses, satisfaction, also not for now but for the future also. It also analyzes the cost and benefit. So it's a broader definition which Paul Samuelson has given up. Now he focuses on the choice, allocation of scarce resources, and evaluation of cost and benefits of doing that particular consumption. So this is what Paul Samuelson definition is all about. I hope you have been clear with all the five economics definition. Let's move to the next topic, that is economic activity and non-economic activity. Now we are going to learn first, that is economic activity. Let's see. Any activity which perform the purpose of getting economic benefits in the form of income, or we can say anything which we are doing and in terms we get certain income, certain money. So that activity is called as what? Economic activity. Now it can be done by involving exchange of goods, by selling, buying and selling, that is exchange of goods or services, or we can say by different factors like land, labor, capital, enterprise. These are the factors which you have to remember. So by using this all factors you try to earn money. That is called as what? Economic activity. Now for example, certain examples are here, like eating in a restaurant. So what is happening up? You have money, you want to have a delicious food, you went to a restaurant and you order that particular food, and lastly when you get satisfaction of eating delicious food you try to pay the bill. Even though if you don't get satisfied you have to pay the bill. So ultimately they have served you the food and you have consumed and you have to pay the bill. That is eating in the restaurant, that is economic activity. Then after watching a movie in a theater, like you went with your friends to watch a movie in a theater. So what is happening up? You have, before entering into the theater hall you have to purchase ticket, you have to verify the ticket, and then after you can only enter into the theater hall. So you try to purchase the ticket, then only you can have this particular theater watching of movie. Then after, a trader who is there, who is doing import export activity, everything, so they earn their money from trading activities. Then after, doctor and nurses, they are, which are there in the hospital, they are giving services to the patients in a hospital. So lastly for their service their money is being given to them. So this is what all economic activity is all about. Or you can say simple sense, you went to a shop, you want to purchase a good. So for example wafers, so you order for a wafers and in that wafer you purchase for 10 rupees, 20 rupees, so you are giving 10 and 20 rupees. That is an economic activity. So this is what, for getting something, and it involves earning. So whenever the word earning comes, you go with this type of examples. So that is economic activity. Second, non-economic activity. Now definition says any activity which performs without specific purpose. There is no purpose of obtaining economic gain. There is a purpose but there is not purpose of gaining some economy, means there is no gain for gaining money. So that is called non-economic activity. For example, going to a friend's birthday party. Does your, when suppose, does your friend ask you to pay 100 rupees and at the door, and then only you enter into the birthday party? No, it is without money. Just his happiness, he is inviting you and you are being went there with the gifts or without gifts also, no matter. So that is called as what? Non-economic activity. Then after, suppose some of the guest comes at your home, so you are offering the tea. Do you ask money for him? Do you ask 10 rupees for one cup of tea? No. So that is called as what? It is a service, it is a formality which you go with doing with every guest who comes at your home. So that is non-economic activity. Then after, politicians giving a public speech. Now what politicians want? Politicians wants votes and all different things. It does not want money. So they try to come in the public, they try to give different types of speeches, so to get, so that public are being attracted and they get votes. So that is also non-economic activity. Then after, playing football with friends. So in the evening time and a free time you try to go with your friends and playing games, or it can be a football, we can say. So what you try to do, you go engage with them and you start playing up, where you get satisfaction for winning and losing, but does it any matter of money comes there? No. So all these activities which are not dealing with money is called as what? Non-economic activity. And any activities which are being deal with the purpose of money, that is called as what? Economic activity. I hope you are being clear with this. Economic and non-economic activity is very easy topic. Let's move to the last topic of this today's lecture, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now economics is been divided into two parts, micro and macro. Now what is microeconomics? The word micro means a small. So here microeconomic is a study of individual units of an economy. Now first of all, what is economy? Economy is a place. Economy is a place, or we can say, oh, in a wider range it can be a district, in a wider range it can be a state, it can be a nation also. So in that particular nation, what all things are different activities are been happening up in that activities, we are going to study only about one individual unit. Suppose we can take example of a business. So in business there are different activities are going up. In that only one particular activity we are going to study, that is called as microeconomics. So it studies the rational behavior. In that it studies about the behavior of the individual unit. It sees what all the things are happening up and what are the principles which are showing individual unit. So scientifically study about one particular unit in a business or in an economy is called as microeconomics. For example, like suppose one particular product is having a demand, like we can say sanitizer is having a demand. So it depends upon the how consumers are demanding. So demand is being based on consumer, supply is based on the firm, how production is going on. Suppose medicines are to be produced, so it depends on the manufacturing firm who are producing medicines, and then only supply can be formed. How much supply is been there, it is because of production on the business. Then after labor market, so labor is an important point. So in that if you want to study about different concept of like demand, supply or labor market, for demand you have to study about consumer, for supply you have to study about the business or firm, and for labor market you have to study about the different kinds of labor. So individual units. See, now what all the things can be studied in economics? For here you can say price, price determination of a product. Like one particular product is there in a business, one product, on that one product how price is been determined, or we can say how it is been fixed, the price has been fixed, that this should be the price of that particular product. So that thing, that is an individual unit. Or we can say equilibrium output level of a firm. Now what output stands here, production. So how much production should be done for a firm to satisfy the market. Then after wage determination of a labor, how much money should be given to the each work of a labor in a business or in an economy is being mentioned here. So one particular aspect it is being considered, and study of that wholly scientifically with scientific principles is called as what? Microeconomics. Lastly, macroeconomics. Macroeconomics studies the issues which are emerged from the entire economic setup, impacts of impacts and the entire economic setup. In short, we can say microeconomics studies the economy as a whole. It does not study one individual unit, it studies the whole economics or whole economy together. Like for example, you can say the national income, how national income is coming up, means individual units are producing and they are learning, and whole together it becomes a macroeconomics. So determination of national income, determination of poverty. Now poverty is not only it limits to one place, but it limits to every. Not what is poverty? Poverty is those person who are not able to get their 2 times of bread or 2 times of food. They are not working, they are unemployed, so they are coming under poverty. Then after determination of unemployment, how many people are eligible but they are unemployed, they are staying at home, they are not working, so that is called as what? Unemployment. So it is not for one particular business, but it is talking about the whole economy, whole country India, or whole state Gujarat, we can say. So that determination is known as what? Macroeconomics. That type of study is known as macroeconomics. Then determination of growth rate, how the GDP, you have every time you're hearing in the news that is the GDP is increasing, the GDP is going down, all this thing. So growth rate, at what rate the Indian economy is increasing or decreasing. So this studies includes the whole country, all the aspects, all the individual aspects in the particular macroeconomic. It does not study one particular individual in, but it studies uh, altogether topic and make conclusions. Lastly, demographic features of population, like what what is the nature of the population of country India, what is the nature of population of state Gujarat. So all these demographic features profiles are being understood. Now, however, in the conclusion, we can say the behavior of individual economic is gives impact on macro parameters. It says that what all individual units are being doing up in there, that studies help us, and what all changes happens in that individual unit, it impacts to the macroeconomics. And when macroeconomic impacts, if anything happens and there is a change in national income, there is the poverty increases, the unemployment increases, for example, the growth rate decreases. So this impacts the decision of Indian individual economic units. Like for example, suppose the national income is reducing. So how national income has been reduced, or the growth rate is decreasing because of what matter. So all that matters, all that points will be affecting the individual unit. Okay, so this is what it is. The study of the whole nation, study of the whole economy is called as what, macroeconomics. Whereas in microeconomics, it is only studying about one particular department, one particular unit in a particular economy. So this is how economics is been divided into micro and macroeconomics. I hope you have been clear with it. You need to write the notes from this video, or what all the points we have written in this, you have to write in your notebook. If you have any queries, you can message me, you can text me, you can call me anytime. I hope you have been clear with it. Any doubts, please contact me. And this is enough for today's lecture. We'll continue in the next lecture. Thank you.